Okay, welcome, guys. I'm so happy to have you both here tonight. I just wanted to ask you. I wanted to for us to talk about the 2020 U.S. elections, and also for you guys to know that this is a safe space, and no matter what your views are, no matter what you personally believe, I want this to be a place where you guys feel supported to voice your opinions and to voice what you have been observing throughout this election process. Um, so the first um, question I guess I want to ask is like for Tia, I know that you won't be voting in this election, but Amber, you might be. So for Amber, I wanna you to give me one reason why you will be voting in the election, and Tia, I would like for you to tell me like why you think it is important for people to vote in this particular election. So either one of you can go first. Whoever wants to go first.
Um, I'll go first. But I'm gonna vote because I feel like that's my duty as a citizen for one. And second, it needs even though it might seem like our vote doesn't count at times, it still does count. They will if it didn't count, people wouldn't try to suppress it like they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't wanna have a a bigot in office. So I will be voting,
Okay.
not for Trump, clearly,
Cool.
for
Okay.
Joe.
Um, can, Tia, can you tell us like why you think it is important for people to vote this election?
Of course. Well, this election specifically, I mean, if you look at the past 4 years, I guess, and if you reflect on it and you're like, wow, this was bummy, you have the power to change that. So if you have the power to change it, why would you like sit back and be like, well, maybe it doesn't count overall? Yeah, it does. It accumulates in the votes. And, if you have two options, and I know it's like an election where it's like, you choose the lesser of the two evils, but if you have a standing on something, you should make it known.
Right, right. I agree. Um, all right. So for Amber, this is the first time that you will be voting, right? So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
wanted I wanted for you to tell me like what you're excited or nervous about.
Well, for one, I'm excited to get a Georgia voter sticker and it be true this time because I've been going with my mom forever and I got this sticker, but it wasn't true. But now I get to actually go in line. I'm a little anxious about the long lines though, and it being, a pandemic.
Yeah.
Also Georgia's really good at voter suppression. They have a lot of techniques. I don't have my state ID yet, so I'll be getting that very soon so I can vote. But I'm also nervous about if you watched the debate last night where Trump was urging his people, his supporters, to watch the polls.
Perfect for the poll watcher.
Yes. And I'm very scared about that because in the past, this isn't even funny. Like in the past, you could get killed if you were a black person trying to go vote. And for him to just outright say, please watch the polls, like
Yeah.
to me, and then for him to tell the Proud Boys to stand by, like I just
Yeah.
it's very yeah, that's scary. It's definitely hate speech and it's inciting violence. He is the real thug. Like
Right. Okay. So, kind of similar to you. I'm a bit nervous just because, like, as we know, along with one of the tactics being voter suppression, there's also this long process of votes. And, before you even get to select who you want for the presidential candidate, you actually are voting for your local elections and also for senators and Congress people and all of these things. And so I'm kind of nervous for that part. And that's done intentionally, kind of to wear out the voters before they even get to the presidential candidate that they want. So I'm a little bit nervous for that. Also nervous for the poll watchers. So everyone, just be careful out there. Just be careful. Um, okay, so I was gonna ask you guys, do you think like our vote as Black women or younger Black women, whatever you want to say, do you think it even it even matters?
Yes, it does. Everyone's vote really matters, but it's not the same thing as if it's actually counted because the voter suppression might not be counted, but it definitely matters, and we should still vote even if we feel discouraged like it's not going to count. It definitely matters.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who thinks it matters as a fact.
Right. Tia?
Yeah, it definitely matters. Like, even I guess, like figuratively, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
like as young Black women, we've been suppressed and such. Like, we have to do this to let our voices be heard after years of it not being heard. Like, we need this. If we don't do it, then like, what have we been fighting for?
Right. Right. And kind of to go off of what you were saying, um, one of the more recent moments of just pain and just absolute blatant disrespect of Black women has been um, the ruling on the Breonna Taylor case, being that the officers were not convicted for her death. So I just wanted to get your feelings on that as young Black women, just seeing that, we're so unprotected to the point where we can be not even part of it. Like, the officers were not supposed to be at Breonna Taylor's home that night. It was their fault for even being there in the first place. And they're not charged. I mean, um, they were charged for because they didn't have a clear line of shooting. Yeah, that's what they were charged for. They weren't actually charged for her death.
And it was only one.
And what did you say, Amber?
And it was only one officer that was charged. The one, look, they were charged for what they didn't do. They were charged for the bullets that missed her. That's what they were charged for, which is what's crazy. Not for the bullets that hit her, but the ones that did not hit her.
Yeah, that's people say. I also have heard that it's been because of, based on their training, the way they shot, they didn't have a clear view of where they were shooting into in particular. So not really like that they just missed, but like because they missed Breonna Taylor, it was more because of like they did not follow protocol. But in the first place, they were faulted in protocol because they weren't supposed to be there that night. You know what I mean? And also I have read that they told the ambulance to leave before they even went into the home. So I just wanted to get some of your opinions or some of your feelings on that whole situation in general, being young Black women in America.
I can go.
Yeah.
I just find it very, like you were saying, like disrespectful. They they're making all these laws and such after Breonna Taylor, and it's just like, well, if you knew there's something wrong with what you did, then why can't you judge the case accordingly? Like, that's very like, okay, so you know what you're doing, and you know that it's not correct, but you're doing it anyway. And you know the people are crying for change, but you're doing it anyway. Performative activism, I guess, them painting the streets or whatever. And it's just like, can you handle the problem, please?
Right. No, and that's really interesting that you brought that up, because I've been feeling that way this whole time too. Like, a lot of this stuff has been performative throughout this whole time of social justice awakening or enlightenment in our country. After, the shooting, I'm sorry, the death of George Floyd, the murder of George Floyd. I feel like, on Instagram or social media platforms, people have been posting like the black tiles and stuff. And I just feel like, but what does that mean at the end of the day? Because you'll see the black tiles, and then after that on their timeline, it's just back to business as usual. You know what I mean? So it's
Exactly.
yeah, so it's kind of like, no, I'm not gonna post a black tile because what does that mean?
That doesn't do anything. Like,
Yeah, it's
whenever I saw someone posting a black tile, I was just like, and that was all they did. It does not help. You think that the leaders in our country are gonna see the black tile and just start crying like, wow, a change needs to be made. This black tile got me. No, people are out here protesting on the streets, and it still did not phase them. Like, for them, the men who killed Breonna Taylor are more valued than Breonna Taylor, to the point where they didn't even want to have them face the consequences for what they did. They could pay they could pay Breonna Taylor's family, but they couldn't charge all the officers with what they should be charged with, murder, like, which is crazy. It shows that this system is not built for black women, black men, period. It's not at all. A government that was built off of it was founded by white men with slave teeth in their mouth. How is that? It wasn't made for black people.
Yep. Yep. Um, Part of like where we talk about that being performative as well is I just, and kind of like what you were getting into, Tia, was like the taking down of these Confederate statues. I don't know. I I understand that statues can offend, but at the end of the day, statues cannot taking down statues doesn't end racism. You know what I mean? So when people go and protest for these statues to be taken down, I understand that they are offensive, but at the end of the day, this does not change the bigger problem. You know what I mean? Like, our problem is systemic. Our problem is ingrained within the societies that we function within. Our problem is one with mentality. It's a socioeconomic problem. And at the end of the day, I understand that people need something to blame. People need something to target, something visible to target. And maybe that's why the statues are coming up right now. But I just feel like it's also for them to take it down, sort of performative. Because I'll tell you, the people that are upset about these statues taken down are not the real serious white supremacists and the ones responsible for essentially us being stuck within this system and being at the bottom of this system. It's not those people that are angry, you know?
I I feel like the statues being up though is it's encouraging them still. Like,
Mm,
um, doesn't it feel good if you see a statue of a successful black person up? Doesn't it feel good?
of course.
Now, if a white supremacist sees a statue of Robert E. Lee, they're gonna be like, "Yep, that's my boy." Like, so I just feel like that shouldn't even be. They shouldn't have something up visibly supported by the government, and funded the maintenance of it, that would give them pride. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would back them up, because it's just kind of, symbolism is still powerful. It's really powerful.
Mm. No, I understand what you're saying. I can see that side of it too. Um, it was just for me, the black tiles really got me. The black tiles was frustrating.
Yeah, the
I,
black tiles. Mm-mm.
I did not like that whole thing.
It did more harm. It did no good. It did harm, because if you post it with the hashtag like BLM or something,
Mhm.
people who are looking for protests or looking for organizations to donate to or something, when they look under that hashtag for that day, they couldn't, because it was just flooded with black tiles. When you could be posting information, protests. You could be posting links, GoFundMe's for organizations, all sorts of stuff. But instead, you're just posting a black tile and calling it a day, and then you go back to your vacation.
Right,
And it's you on Snap showing your vacation, all laughs, smiles. It doesn't add up.
right. No, I get that. I have a question for you guys. Like, if you could tell the Democratic Party one thing, what would it be?
um, you're not for us either. Honestly, I kind of,
Okay,
cause
wait, wait,
you know what I'm
wait.
trying.
Hold on right there. Tia, you say, and then we'll go into what you said, Amber. Go ahead. What do you think, Tia?
To be honest, Democratic Party. I don't really know what the Democratic Party is doing right now. Like, what is Biden and such doing like right now? What are they doing?
What do you like? What are they planning like
Yeah,
for?
what are they planning to do? Are they trying to help Black communities? Like, I really don't know what he's trying to do
No, they're
now.
not.
Go
They're
ahead.
they hmm?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, they may seem okay. I saw something today actually on Instagram where it was like Donald Trump wants an openly racist America and Biden wants an America with hidden racism. And I don't think it's exactly like that, but I do the I don't think either parties are for us completely. You know what I mean? Like the Democratic Party still has a lot of issues, and at the end of the day, they're not going to go out of their way unless it makes them look good or gets them black votes to do something to better the black community. Like it
No,
doesn't.
and I know
At
that.
one point, the Democrats were the really racist ones. The yeah
Yeah. And I know like a lot of people um typically feel like a lot of, especially Black people, brown people, people of color, within that community, a lot of people usually vote for the Democratic Party or on the Democratic ticket. Um, but at the end of the day, there has been some promises. There have been promises made that have been yet to come to fruition. You know what I mean? And they have our vote. But at the same time, I'm not going to speak about that for this particular election
yeah
because of the stakes being so high,
yeah
just because of the continuous blatant racism, like
yeah.
what it is. Like,
It's
so
bigotry, like just all around in all sectors. Period. Like
right.
this stuff, the language that Donald Trump has used, like talking about the suburbs, stuff like that.
They're,
Talking about
what is
yeah,
they're coming
like
for,
invading.
yeah, they're gonna invade the suburbs. Anyway,
Like, come on now. We know what that means. Like how there was white flight, especially in Atlanta. White flight.
mm-hmm,
We know what he's trying to say with that.
mm-hmm.
And then also Biden, how I'm sorry, I'm getting passionate, but Biden said if you have to think about it was something like if you have to think about if you're gonna vote for me, then you ain't black.
Oh
Who is Biden to say that?
yes,
He
okay, that
thinks
was the thing.
Obama is his homeboy.
Mr. Biden did not mean to say that. I think yeah, that was bad. That was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like he has a lot of good intentions at times, but his execution is very, very sloppy.
Well, talking about his execution, I think
Because he did kind of. What were
last
you saying?
huh? No, I was saying talking about his execution, last night's execution, I would say was pretty. He did pretty well
He,
for himself.
but Donald Trump made him look better. Like in comparison, Donald Trump started talking about Joe Biden's son,
Mm-hmm.
and it was so classy of Joe Biden to not bring up his children. It was very, very classy.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Tia, do you have any thoughts about the debate last night?
Personally, I went to sleep at like 6, but I caught a little bit of what people were talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, this is really messy because I heard that Donald Trump was interrupting people, that they were talking
Mhm.
over each other, and I was just like, and that they didn't even address the issues that they brought up, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay.
Like
Like
Biden
when he was,
tried, but yeah, it was really difficult for him to get in a word like with Donald Trump. I guess that was the tactic, to interrupt him to the point
yeah,
where he couldn't even speak. I guess that was his plan, his strategy at the end of the day.
and it was he just Trump said so many things last night that it was just so much to process. When he said stand back and stand by and could not denounce the whites, and he started like stuttering, like trying to
Um,
avoid it.
yeah,
Stand back and stand by, Proud Boys.
it was said in a sarcastic manner. He wouldn't actually like genuinely condemn
Because
white.
he's one of them.
But yeah, if you're benefiting off of a system, why would you condemn the system that you benefit?
Exactly.
I get it. I mean, like, I mean, why would he condemn? I didn't expect him
It,
to condemn white supremacy.
but it's crazy because a lot of his supporters are like these people in rural areas, white people in rural areas, a lot of them. And these people actually do, like they labor for they work for their working class people, right?
Hmm.
And they pay taxes. And they still support a man, regardless of them being racist and supporting that. They support a man who paid $750 in taxes and got, what was it, a million something in tax returns?
Hmm.
Like, and they still vote for him. That if if you're racist, I get that. You're racist. I don't get it, but you know what I mean. Like you're racist. Period.
Yeah.
But but for you to also support this man when he's not even paying taxes as a
Right.
president, like that doesn't. I don't. You have to be a different kind of
No, but I don't understand
dodo.
at this point what more you need to see from him. Um, like I don't know like how much lower he can go at this point. Like this is not me just bashing on Trump. Like I don't care to,
Yeah.
but I'm saying like honestly, as a president, this is he set a new precedent. He set a new low. Um,
Yeah.
so that's all I was saying.
Such all out of all the presidents I've read about in history, I have never heard of one this.
Well,
There's not a word like unintelligent, um, sloppy, disrespectful, like just
you the most disrespectful. But okay,
rude.
so next question. If you guys could tell the Republican Party one thing, then what would it be? Tia, I will
There's
start
a
with
lot.
you.
Mm.
Okay, Republican Party.
Yes.
Well, going based off of like the stereotypical Republican, I suppose, like I feel as if they don't have to be as not afraid of change, but like afraid of different people. Like
Yeah.
they get up in arms about like the stereotypical Republican, like up in arms about people who don't abide by like Christian, strict Bible attributes and stuff. And it's like it's okay. Like there's different people out there with different perspectives.
That was beautiful, Tia. Like yes, literally. That was good. Amber, what's
Pretty much the same thing. Embrace diversity. There are people that exist that are very different from you. Not everyone had the same upbringing as you or the same beliefs, the same yeah, they're not everybody is you. And that's pretty much it. Just embrace diversity. Stop trying to make everybody like you or like
no, I get it.
or
Um,
at least care about all of the people because a lot of times Republicans kind of vote for what's best for Republicans and put it aside. They don't think about the rest
well, they
of
all do.
it.
That's part of the party system. That's part of the partisan
But,
system that we're under, if we're gonna be honest.
but do you know that the actual definition? I learned this in my class like a couple weeks ago. Kind of. I was like, wow. The actual definition of like democracy originally
Mm,
was the ability of like people to do things together
mm,
like as a whole. So it's not to please the majority, the most people you can. Like when you vote and see like, oh, 60% of people want that, 40% want that, we'll take what the 60% want. It's actually coming to a consensus together to make all agree on something. You know what I mean?
wow.
That's crazy.
Yikes. Okay.
You wait, I feel like you want to say something.
No, I mean, I just don't think that we do that. Like
We don't. We
and
do
the
not.
thing is, like we had to wait so long for just a partisan for a consensus among both of the parties just to pass
Yeah.
coronavirus bill. Like it's
They're like fighting children.
yeah.
They can't they are paid to run the country and they can't do that when they have people telling them what to do. Their constituents are telling them what to do, and they can't.
Yeah, but it's funny, like, I feel like a lot of time constituents aren't really considered. I don't feel like the people have been
Hmm.
considered. I feel like it's more about making sure that my party stays at the top, because at the end of
Yeah,
the day, that's who I'm for. I'm for my political party, not the constituents I represent, not the American people. I'm for whichever party, you know? Um,
yeah,
so, but I would also say, like, the president, that's fine, whatever, that's okay. But at the end of the day, it's going to be about Congress, because
yeah.
can't if we had Congress, he couldn't do all of this craziness. Like, it wouldn't even go down like that. Like,
Well, he is very tyrannical. Like, I don't think I said whatever, but
what you mean?
he like in the debate last night when he started saying he was not going to accept, like, if he lost the election,
Hmm.
and that he would hand it over to the Supreme Court to declare it like a fraudulent election.
Yeah.
But he's about to put a new justice after RBG died, and that is actually tyranny for an election to happen and you not accept it if you lose. And
Yeah.
then he's saying it can take months for the votes to be counted. He said that a few times to let us know that that's what he's going to be doing, pushing it off. I caught that. You're not slick, Donald.
Okay, yeah, but so yeah, talking about his new Supreme Court justice candidate, I just want to tell you that she thinks that the Affordable Care Act is unconstitutional, and she also is opposed to Roe v. Wade. So that's the kind of, that's what the court is
Yeah.
going to look like. And then it's going to be majority conservatives on the Supreme Court running the nation. And we all know that they have life sentence, not a life sentence, but like a lifelong term,
Life sentence.
a lifelong term
I didn't know the prison was.
in their seats, excuse me, in their seats. So I just think that it's really
That's
dangerous.
there needs to be a limit on just like there's a limit for terms on the presidency, there needs to be limits on these other, like, it's just as important. The legislative and judicial branch. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if if a group of people like the way someone's doing their job and this group of people are racist, then
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna stay there forever. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be a racist person forever. But if you start cycling the people out, then there's actually a chance for progression, because if you keep the same old people in there who only represent that section of the population,
Mm-hmm.
then nothing's going to change. It's going to be the same.
That's correct. Also,
Old people represent.
going into that, I don't know if you've heard of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You probably have, but she,
Hmm.
when she was running to try to get into Congress, the candidate that she had wasn't even living in the district she was running to represent. So he wasn't living in the district. He lived in Virginia, and he was representing the Bronx and Queens. So those are the types of people that we have in Congress. Just so you guys are aware, people that literally don't care and are not even present in the community to have an idea of the people within that community and to have an idea of what they might need. We don't, like, he wasn't even in the district.
a lot of a lot of that is actually our fault though. Like, I have to
Yeah,
say, a lot of,
exactly.
because I know that I never saw um the other positions except for the president as important to
Right.
look at when you're voting, because all you will hear about is the president. But really they are so much more important if you think about it, to
Mm-hmm.
do research on first your local um elections and just the Congress and stuff like that. Because if you just go in there and you're like, oh, I'm gonna pick a Democrat, or I'm gonna pick them because they're the same race as me,
Oh,
you're not.
careful, Mr. Daniel Cameron. Be careful, Mr. Daniel, for example. But anyway.
But um, if you do that, then you're not you're voting blindly, and then you can't get mad when stuff doesn't, when you don't get the results you want because you put these people in office. So I think that we need to um, inform people and be more informed ourselves on the candidates.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree with that.